Session. Well, welcome everybody. We're back after our Christmas break and we're into 2026, the 12th of January 2026. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure some others will join us along the way. And I hope you had a good new year and that you've feeling refreshed after any time or break, or maybe not if you've had family with you. Maybe you feel exhausted, or maybe you feel like making more connections. So I'm just going to, if this is okay with everybody, so welcome to the People Speaks Out. And we're moving into our, as Rachel mentioned last time, our fifth year. So it was the People Speaks Out was started in February in 2021, and we're now heading for February 2026. So well done for all those of you who've been here for all this time, supporting yourselves and each other. It's quite a mammoth task to commit to something every 2 weeks. So those that have stayed the course, well done. And we're just, as we quite often do at the beginning, just for everyone to drop in to the stillness, because stillness to me is where we find where we can access the quantum field out of the busy mind and receiving information from a, let's just say, a more reliable source. So we just like to close our eyes and maybe give some thought, some sort of bring your attention maybe inwardly whilst you're taking some deep breaths through the nose and breathing out, exhalating the air. Maybe the session today is going to be focused on what word would you, that basically has the frequency, the association of that energy that you would like to claim this year. What word would sum up what it is you want to bring into your life, claim, allow to step into for 2026? And I'd love to be able to go around everybody just with your hand up, and you can just give a one word answer, maybe what word you've chosen and why. And obviously, there are many other things we can talk about as well. So I will go into that, but let's just have a few moments of silence and stillness. Thank you. And I will just call everybody back when I feel that we've sunk into a more connected place. So just follow your breathing, see how you breathe, because how you breathe is how you do life. Is it shallow and gasping, or is it nice and deep, right into the belly, into the lungs, into the chest? And is there a flow with your breath? Just notice and witness. Beautiful. I can see myself, feel myself plugging in into a higher field of energy when I do that. So that helps me. So thank you for humoring me and helping yourself, hopefully, too. So in the first 12 days, we've had quite a lot going on. Obviously, we've maybe you'd like to bring your thoughts to how do you feel about what's gone on in Venezuela with the US administration sort of kidnapping the president in Venezuela and his wife. How do you feel that sits with you? Do you feel that's is justified? Is it okay? Should we all be up in arms about lawlessness of going to kidnap people? And then we have the very sad situation as well that happened in Minneapolis with what seemed, depending on the footage you were looking at or depending on what propaganda you've listened to, How do you feel that went? Did that seem like cold-blooded murder with this um, mother of three that seemed to have an incident around her car? But I didn't see any aggression from her myself. But that's just what I've been, the footage I've seen. It could well be that it's just the angles being shown at. So everything is perspective, isn't it? Depending on what the cameras are looking at and what you've seen. So how do you feel about that? And obviously, anything closer to home that you may feel that you want to speak about, or that has maybe risen something in you. Um, but going back to the word and what you want to claim, what is it that you want to speak out about this year? Do you feel as if you want to step up more into taking more of a role in sharing what you know, connecting more with people, sounding out more? What is this year bringing to you? What would you like the frequency of this year to be? So I'm just going to, I've had to, as you know, when I last spoke to you, I had a serious foot injury that I found out that I broke. And it's been a very difficult time because of Christmas time. It's generally, when you've got family, quite a busy time. And um, obviously in the midwinter, when you're not really feeling like galvanizing all that energy in the darkness of the winter, um, to be going out and doing lots of things. And I haven't been able to do it. So I had to surrender and release to other people doing things for me, walking my dog, doing the shopping, doing the cooking. And I had to sit with that because it goes against my nature just to sit and do nothing. Um, but I quite often look for resources to try and give me feedback as to what's going on. And this was very interesting because last year I did a beautiful course, which I told you about going through the south of France on a tour with Mary Magdalene, and not literally, but obviously in essence, in spirit. And I filled this beautiful journal with lots of really interesting snippets and information. And on each of these pages is a beautiful reference, which is really helpful. So I open it every day and ask it to give me some feedback as to what maybe guidance that may help me. And it turned to a page the other day when I was thinking I should be doing something. I should be, there should be more momentum in my life, which is my word for this year is momentum. We're into the year of the fire horse, starting in February with the Chinese New Year. So also maybe what does that represent for you? A fire and a horse together. Does that bring you any inspiration, or does it give you any insight as to what this year may be bringing to us? So very briefly, before we go to Roger, who's got his hand up, I should just read you this because it's quite interesting. For those of you that may be not doing less, maybe taking a back seat, maybe spending more time in rest and restoration, this is quite interesting to listen to. So, becoming requires energy. We do not have to throw ourselves mercilessly into endless activity or be anxious that we must do something, even while not knowing what we're supposed to be doing. We should be doing something. I don't know what it is, but I should be doing something. And the message from the Divine Mother is to trust yourself. Trust the Divine Mother. Replenish yourself and have faith in your process and your timing. So the word maybe you want to trust yourself more. You want to have faith that your guidance that comes from a higher perspective of yourself is actually one that you can trust. So I just want to send out some love and healing to our dear friend Rachel, who's not feeling too well. So she is around, but she won't be coming on camera because she's not feeling too good. So sending out lots of healing energy and saying to Rachel, maybe you've been doing a lot recently, and you're being called to slow down and take it easy. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to come over to Roger. Roger, if you'd like to unmute yourself, you can be the first speaker of 2026 on the People Speaks Out. So welcome. Can you unmute yourself, please, my darling? There is no sound coming from you, Roger.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, lovely. Thank you. You're in the.
Okay. Well, the first thing, S.A.S, is I'd like to thank you for hosting this meeting. I know it's not easy for you to have the responsibility, and of course, I'm very saddened to hear that Rachel's not feeling so well. And probably you're right. It's maybe a signal for her to just kind of slow down a bit because she does so much. I mean, she's got so many projects on. So I just wish her well and hope that she recovers very, very soon. Well, the one thing I want to kind of repeat, because I think I've said this before, I'm not sure, but I think I have. I've told Eon Next, that's my so-called energy provider, which of course isn't, because these people are just credit brokers. They don't supply energy,
No.
they're credit brokers. They're people designated to send bills to us. That's all they do. That's the only thing that they actually function in doing. They don't supply any energy. Anyway, that's by the by. So I've written to Eon Next telling them that I will not pay any VAT on their bills because I believe this money is being spent and has been spent on support funding the Israeli genocide against the Palestinians. And I've said, yes, I'm not refusing to pay, but on condition that your managing director sends me an affidavit to say that the money that I'm going to pay VAT will not be used in the future for funding Israel and has not been used in the past for funding Israel to commit this genocide. So it's conditional. I'm not refusing to pay, but that's what I am doing. And I've told them that if I actually do pay that amount of money for VAT and it is being used for genocide, which of course is a crime, then I am guilty of contravening the Accessories and Abettors Act 1851. So, what do you want me to do? Do you want to force me into committing a crime? So, there we are. So, the latest letter or email I got from them is that my complaint, when it isn't a complaint, actually, it's an actual declaration that I'm not going to pay them. But anyway, they've called it a complaint, and they've said my complaint has reached a stage now where it's deadlocked. It has been sent on to another department. Yeah, I bet it has. So that's my report on my refusal to pay VAT. And I mean it. I will not pay it. They can take me to court and they do what the hell they like. I am not going to fund the genocide of Israel against the Palestinian women, babies, children who are getting their arms blown off, they're getting blinded. Why should I do that? Why should any of us do that? I'm not. I will not do it. I'm not funding them. So anyway, that's my rant for today. I'll
Well, don't
let
tell me to
somebody
stop
else
this
speak
yet.
now.
Great. Roger, I was going to say, is your word for the year defiance then?
Well, my word for the year is justice.
Okay.
I want justice.
I totally agree. I sent one of those probably about 18 months ago to Chris Jackson, who was the CEO of Octopus, and had a recorded delivery and everything, but never heard anything back from him. I just still get loads of bills coming through for about £6,500, and I just laugh and think I shan't be paying that. And I've written the same thing because we are literally we're involved in terrorism, funding terrorism by doing this.
That's right, absolutely, 100% correct. And Chris Coverdale is the expert on that.
Is yeah.
And it's the
So
same with paying council tax is the same.
oh yeah, anywhere anything where you pay VAT or tax
Yeah,
is
any tax at all. Yeah,
any
absolutely. Income tax, the lot. It's got to stop. And that's why my my word for the year is justice. And I mean, look what's happened to Rachel. She's been to Worcester Court 7 times. Did she get justice? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All she got was the expense of travelling backwards and forwards from her distant home in Devon. So let's get the vibrations going on that one.
Definitely.
Anyway,
That's a
you've given me enough time, so let somebody else speak now. I'll say bye bye. Oh well, I want to wish everybody a happy new year, and I actually believe that the signs are there that there is going to be a happy new year. I really believe in that. I'm very, very optimistic
you're looking very
because
well.
I think people now, enough people, I think we've got to the critical mass where people are waking up and realize what tyranny is being imposed upon us from this communist Labour government. Okay, that's it then. That's it. Bye bye. See
See,
you later.
thanks, Roger. You're looking very well, by the way.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Thank you.
Yeah, you're looking very animated, a few years younger actually this year. So
Well, I could do with that.
just taking years off you, or wanting to stand up for justice is what we're really wanting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rachel's been putting quite a few interesting comments in the chat box if anybody wants to have a look. And meanwhile, so thank you, Roger, for your input. And we'll come over to Eileen. Eileen, hi, darling. If you could unmute yourself, we'd love to hear what your maybe what your word is of the year, or what you're hoping to bring in and claim this year, or maybe you want to comment on some of the events that are going on around us as they're unfolding. You disappeared altogether now. Where's she gone? Are you able to unmute yourself? We've got some little glitches, I think, going on. Can anyone else see? Can anyone else see Jean? You just disappeared. Oh, Eileen. Sorry, not Jean. I'm going loopy loo here. Eileen, could you unmute yourself, please? Oh, well, I don't know what's going on. Why you're not? Why?
We're there. We're there.
Oh, there we go.
We're here.
Sorry, I'm very sorry, Eileen. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Yes, I hope your foot is going to get better.
It's definitely on the mend. Definitely,
Good.
definitely. I can even put a shoe on today, which is amazing. So thank you
Yeah,
for asking.
yeah. I had a fractured ankle about what is it, about 15 years ago. I broke both my wrists 14 years ago, and it's been downhill since then. Um, I was always out and about, so I've had my wings clipped.
Oh,
But I do feel that my guardian angel has said enough is enough, you know? So I'm now housebound, but I'm very active within the way I can be. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good.
Clearly. Hopefully everyone else.
Yes. So I'm very active within, because of the access to the internet and the people speak out. And
Mm.
I think what I'm being made aware of more and more, which is probably what I've got to really focus on this year, is the inner voice. You know, when somebody's telling you to do something and you don't, and it might be very small, very trivial,
Yeah.
and there's a voice that's coming through, and you're, no, no, no. And then the consequence of that is something will happen which will create more work, you know. And now that I'm walking around with a walking frame around the house, I have to be very focused, very careful, and yeah. So my word for this year is the pay attention to the inner voice. Mm.
That's a very, very good thing to
Yeah.
obviously pay attention to, because
Mm.
whatever's going on outside is
Mm.
just so much noise and so much
Yeah.
distraction that
Mm.
you lose yourself unless you do go inside. But a lot of people find that
Yeah.
very difficult. Maybe
Mm.
somebody could express how they feel about going inside. Does it make, a lot of people find it very difficult to
Mm.
meditate, to close down the
Mm.
outside rabble and
Yeah.
just listen to the inner landscape. But it's so
Yeah.
important that we do. So that's an excellent
Mm.
opportunity to just sort of take more time listening to
Yeah.
what's going on inside of us. Our intuition is normally always spot on.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
but how many times
Mm,
do we ignore it, Eileen? How many?
that's right. I've got more time now. I've got far more time to actually, because I have to be in the present moment. Otherwise, I will fall and whatnot. Um, so because of that, I'm more in the present moment. And therefore, this inner voice has got more access to me if I would pay attention. So
Yeah, I'm quite sure that's why I got slowed down.
if
Uh,
something happens, it does. I mean, if you look back on your life, this is very druidic. You look back in your life at events in your life, and if the result of what happened to that with the event, what happened, the direction that you moved
yeah,
into, often it's something that happened that was awful, and then if you reflect back on it, the result was something better. You were sort of put in a better direction. That's how I feel.
redirected. Yes.
You're redirected. And as I said, I feel that, I've been out and about so much. I think that my guardian angel said enough is enough.
So, so your word is to pay attention to your inner world.
Yes.
What have you got anything to say on what's going on in the outer world?
Oh, well, this is it. This is what I've always been involved with, you see. I'm also decluttering. I'm going through lots of files and everything, all the things I've been involved with, the Green Party, Friends of the Earth, everything. And I've got lots of paperwork. So also I'm going to declutter, particularly all the paperwork that I've collected and don't want to part with. And somebody's requested greetings cards or something else I find very hard to let go of. I've got, oh, I don't know, must be 500 from different people. And I was going through them, wanting to cut out the top. And it just sort of stirred up so much emotion that a lot of them I couldn't part with, not even just the picture on top. You know?
Very attached to our material things, aren't we?
I do cling on to things. I think that's very Cancerian, isn't it? But yes, so no, it's a time to declutter as well, and yeah, clear the decks. And so I wished you well, and I wish particularly Rachel because I think she does so much, and maybe there's a message there. I mean, she does so much, doesn't she? Ah,
Does
yeah.
she really does, and she's got a new program starting next week.
Ah,
Don't mean a
yes,
television program, but a new business program that she's running.
yes, yes,
Um,
yeah,
she requires obviously a lot of attention and presence for that. So maybe it's just a build up to giving her a break before that all kicks off.
yes, yes, yes.
So,
Be
well, thank
positive
you
about
so
that.
much,
Yes.
Eileen. Yeah, for coming in and sharing that because it's really when we give voice to what it is we're wanting to embrace or
Mm,
to align with the frequency of, it's actually so it really does help from many years of experience of actually stating it. So I would recommend and encourage
mm,
everybody like Eileen and Roger to, even if you just come on very briefly, just to share your word for the year, as opposed to necessarily having to
mm.
make a comment on what's going on the outside world
Mm.
and what events are happening and how you're feeling about that.
Mm. Well, if I
Bring,
could just comment,
yeah,
if I can make another comment,
of course.
the pubs are shutting, and what was the other thing that's closing down? Something, but anyway, it's all part of the plan, the New World Order. So if you're into the alternative point of view, everything that's happening, it fits the plan, as David Icke would say. What does he say? Know the outcome, and then you'll understand the
Step
way. Yeah.
steps.
And so often now, when I'm watching the news and everything, like the Venezuela, these after the oil, but there's what is going on is a big picture, a world picture. And as I said, if you sort of know an alternative point of view, then it's like putting in a piece of puzzles, fitting the puzzle. So although it's quite worrying, to know that other point of view is also very disturbing because you can see things happening and you know why they're happening. And, so I think hopefully more people are waking up.
But also as well as if you're very focused on what it is
Mm,
that you want to align yourself with, then
yeah.
you're moving away from maybe what we've been sort of drawn into. So
Mm,
it's standing in your power as well and being more sovereign rather than
mm,
being dragged hither and
mm,
thither
yeah.
into other people's dramas, which I also notice a lot
Mm,
of people that have been around me have a lot of dramas. And so I point this out because I said, do you want, it's like a movie that we're in. We're in a movie.
Mm.
And if you step outside of the movie and you can just watch it rather than be
Mm.
involved in it, it does help calm
Mm.
down the whole nervous system. It's when you're
Mm.
involved in that roller coaster up and down with the movie, and all the dramas that are going on there, that it really has an impact on our internal, settings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
can
think,
you stand in your sovereignty and say, this is what I represent, this is what I stand
yeah.
for?
I think
And
it's very difficult to stand away from it if it is actually happening to you.
it is absolutely.
It's very difficult if it's happening to you to actually stand away. I don't find that easy at all. Um, yeah.
But it's, yeah, especially when I just experienced obviously being in absolute agony and pain, it
Yes.
brings you focused into
Yes,
it does bring you to the present moment though, doesn't it?
it does.
You can't think of anything else apart from what's going on.
That's it. No, that's it.
So yes, it's a good way of keeping the distractions away.
Mm.
Eileen, if you've got anything else to say,
No, that's it. Thank
we've
you.
only got, well, we have the amazing Val who wants to share something. But the way my computer is at the moment is that everything's lined up and I can't see anybody else with their hands up apart from Val. So I might have to go down the chain. But please do, Val, unmute yourself and love to hear what you have to input or say today. You just need to unmute yourself, obviously. No. I might have to go to the participants and unmute you because it seems like everyone's having problems unmuting. Let's just see where you are, Val. Let me unmute you. Seem to be no.
Yep. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, it's saying the host won't allow participants to unmute, by the way. So
Ooh, I'm a control freak now.
so that's what I'm getting anyway. But
Well, that's good to know. Okay.
yeah,
Well, thank you for that.
yeah. Oh, God, there were loads of things that people have said, and I'm thinking, oh, I want to comment on that, and then I've forgotten what it was.
Quietly, and just it will come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I think what's quite interesting from what you've been saying, and also because you haven't been well and Rachel hasn't been well, I do wonder whether it's I don't know whether we're being invited to slow down, and also what Eileen was saying, about. I mean, I was made redundant from my job in 2019, conveniently just before the lockdowns. Um, but I think I've spent most of my working life being driven and rushing around. I had a business in my 20s and I've changed careers several times, but been very driven and rushing around. And now I feel like I'm being invited to just stay in one place. I mean, I've tried on a number of occasions over the last few years to get something moving, like a Reiki share or a group or whatever, but nothing's come of it. And I feel like maybe after a whole life, if you like, of rushing around and doing things, um, I'm being invited to be still and stay in one place.
Mm.
I mean, my husband and I have been wanting to move house for a long time, and I think it's possible I'm holding that back because I'm a bit of a hoarder as well. Um, so I do identify with that, Eileen. But I've been trying to get rid of stuff. And my word for this year, well, I got more than one word actually. I've got direction was one, and also got coming and running. And I'm thinking, well, I don't fancy doing either of those things, but we'll see what happens.
A bit like the fire horse.
Yeah, well, that's true actually. You might be right. Maybe that's it. Um, and another thing that is sort of relevant as well is it not every day, but I try and listen to the little inner voice, and occasionally it says write. So I get out my little book and I use my left hand to write with. And that means it's not very intelligible, but it comes through more slowly. So it allows it to come through, I think, from the higher self. Most of the time, I think it's my higher self talking to me. Sometimes I ask a question, sometimes I just let it sort of ramble. Um, and that's really interesting because stuff comes through that sometimes it's reassuring me, telling me I'm on the right track, and sometimes it's kind of telling me what the futures might be, and that I find that kind of quite satisfying and reassuring, and it. I don't know. I just feel like I'm being guided, and it's one of the few opportunities where I listen to the voice. um, so yeah, I think. But yes, I feel like, although this year I feel in my bones is going to be a really good year for everyone, I hope. I still don't feel like rushing around myself. I kind of sitting back and watching. But I'm trying not to get too involved in the drama and other people's drama, actually. I mean, I still have friends who I suspect have had the intervention, even if I haven't asked them, and they're still tied up in the drama, but I'm finding it okay to be around them up to a point, but after a while, I think, you know, I've had enough of the small talk. I can't take much more of this.
Honestly.
I want to scuttle back to my sanctuary, to my home. Um, but we've even though the house is a bit cluttered, we've got crystals everywhere. I burn incense,
Mm.
proper like basilica and that sort of proper incense. And we both wear crystals, and so it kind of feels like it's still a sacred place for us. And it feels like the place where I can recharge my batteries. So I kind of go out and then scuttle back in and recharge my batteries. Um, but I do think it's going to be a good year. It feels really positive, and I don't know. I don't know. it feels a lot better than it has done previously, anyway. So
Well, we have just finished a 9-year cycle, haven't we?
right, yeah,
So 2025 represented in numerology. If you look at numbers as being vibrations and letters having that influence, obviously letters are spells, aren't they? When we put them together, they create words which are spells. And there's some
oh,
similar
yeah,
with the mathematics. Everything in as far as I'm aware in nature is mathematically designed. So the numbers represent energies and influences. So nine, the energy of the nine, which is completion, coming to an end. It's about humanitarian, if, events. Is now the beginning of 2026. Is the sort of number one. So new beginning,
mm.
energy, fresh perspective. So I
No,
think
that,
people are
yeah,
feeling that, even though in these early days. And also when you said about, I don't feel like running around, we're still in midwinter, aren't we?
true.
Even though we have hit the solstice, which means it starts to get lighter by 10 minutes every week, which is a very uplifting feel that like more light's coming in. And we've had actually quite a few very bright, light days, especially in
Mm,
January.
mm,
The
mm.
last few days have been really beautiful. So it feels like a beginning, a new beginning, a new fresh energy. But more
Yeah.
importantly, it's about how you feel yourself about it, isn't it?
Well, funnily enough, well, back in the 90s, to cut a long story short, we were involved in quite a lot of sort of spiritual practice and various workshops and things. Anyway, basically, 2025 was supposed to be when the Christ consciousness was arriving. Um, but I didn't realize it was going to do it gradually. I thought it was going to be a like, you know, although I didn't really think about what that might entail. But what you're saying kind of figures, because if 2025 was the sort of like the Christ consciousness has come in, and now, we're taking off with the year one,
Yeah,
of the next cycle, perhaps. Um, so
definitely.
yeah, I think that's really interesting.
I mean, my
And yeah, I was going to say I won't talk for much longer because
that's all right.
obviously
Yeah.
there might be other people. But yes, I mean, I'm getting more and more interested in sort of frequencies and nature and grounding. A lot of the activities I used to love, like going to cinema or going to music events, stuff like that, all of that is kind of, I don't want to mix with the crowds. I just kind of have more of a yearning to stay put or go out into the garden when the weather's lovely, get some grounding. I just feel like everything's changed. And all the things I used to love doing, a lot of them anyway, have kind of disappeared or don't have any joy anymore. I still love creating things. Um, but yeah, so I'm kind of excited about this year. I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out. So
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Val. I appreciate that a lot of people are being called to go within. So my feeling that this new year, this new energy, this new cycle is actually, when you mention about the Christ consciousness, to me, it's the yin energy. It's the yin, the consciousness, the Christ energy of the feminine, which is the yin energy, which is more about going within, about spending more focus on your internal landscape rather than all the noise on the outside. And also, if you think about all the yang things, the activities that people involve themselves in, men or women, you've been doing a lot. But if there's been a lot going on for some people in terms of the energy output, then I think they're being called to withdraw in, because it's about connecting to that Christed energy within the feminine energy. So it's about more gentility, more surrender, more release, which is what I've having to do. So obviously I've been too yang, and I've been called to bring my energy more in balance with the yin energy. That's how I feel. I don't know about anybody else. Anybody else notice they're being called to go more within, as opposed to the activities of doing and doing and doing, and being more in the being energy? I feel is what we've been called to do, because it's about the balance of connecting with that inner.
Yeah, I think the whole yin yang, that's a really good way of explaining it. I mean, I've done a bit of Tai Chi, so I know kind of get an idea of what you're talking about, and that's a very interesting way of looking at it. Funnily enough, we bought a very old car last year because we decided we want to go retro, and it's a 20-year-old Jeep, and we've called it Tara. Which is an Oriental goddess, I think, isn't she? So, and she's red and feisty, I think. Got four-wheel drive, so we're prepared for everything.
Had a camper van called Kuan Yin. So
Oh, right. Oh, lovely. I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely, Val. Thank you very much for coming on to share. I don't see anybody else has got their hand up, so I'm just wondering if anybody else has their word for the year they want to put out there, that they want to cement by actually stating it, or whether you've got any comments about what's going on in your world around you at the moment. Because otherwise, you're just going to get me talking, and I should be doing references from books and all sorts of things. So it would be really lovely. There's only a small group anyway, so you don't need, maybe this is a time when you can actually, if you haven't spoken before, I know Val has, Eileen has, I know Roger has, obviously Rachel. So we've got Andrew, I'm going to call you out now, Patricia, Fiona, Corrine, Clifford. Perhaps you would just want to briefly say what your word is for the year. And if so, you can go down to the bottom of the page, and there is a hand that you can, on the react button. So there's a little heart, and when you press react, you can send lovely hearts like that, or you can put your hand up and you can speak, because this platform is for people to share their inner workings. You don't want to listen to the host all the time. I mean, I know I'm fascinatingly interesting, obviously, but it's really about, this platform was set up for people to air their views and share what it is. So you just need to go down to the bottom and then unmute yourself. If you can't unmute yourself, just let me know, and I'll go into the bit where I can unmute you. So I'm looking for. I've got a new. Is it new face? Patricia, have you been on before? I can't. I know. Are you trying to get on? You just have to. If you go down to the bottom and go to the react button, can you see at the bottom?
Clifford has.
Hi, Eileen. And then you can see that there's a hand up, or I can just unmute you if you want to come on. So we've got Tina. So come on, let's see whose word. What's your word for the day? If you haven't given me a word for the day, it would be lovely to hear what your word for the year is, because then you're declaring it and it gives it power, like that horse that's coming in at full speed and in fire, on fire, should I say. And also it's interesting as well. Does anybody else, I was going to say, when you're, Val, like you were saying, you get like this inner voice. Is it actually a voice, or is it an impression? Is it like a thought that comes through? How can anyone distinguish what the difference is between your normal consciousness talking to you, like the monkey mind, or the difference between what I call the higher power, your highest, wisest self coming through? How do you know what the difference is? How do you discern what the difference is? Has anybody experienced having a sort of acknowledging the difference between your everyday consciousness and the voice that comes from a deeper or a more discerning, heartfelt place? Maybe your soul's energy. I don't know how you would view it. Maybe there could be some information you could share, some experiences that you had, because it's lovely to hear what other people, because it makes me feel like, okay, I'm not all on my own on this one. I'm just going to see if I can change the grid, because at the moment I can't actually see. So Clifford, I'm not sure who put the hand up first, Patricia or Clifford, but Patricia, are you finding it difficult? We'll go to Patricia first. Can you unmute yourself, Patricia, or do you want me to do it? Let me just have a look here. Let me see where you are. I don't know why it's been funny today about unmuting people, but ask to unmute. There we go. Are you able to unmute yourself? Are you able to go to the left-hand side of your screen and there is a microphone? Because whenever I go to it, it just covers it up with other information, not letting me do it unless I unmute everybody. Oh, let's have a look. No, it's being a little bit of a... Oh,
yes. Is it right now?
Brilliant. Well done. You did it in the end. Okay. Thanks, Patricia. Have you been on before?
No, I do listen every time it's on.
Oh, well, thanks for coming too.
I was saying the previous lady that spoke, it's ever so strange actually, because I'm full on with what's going on in the world and with us, the way we all feel.
Yeah.
But I was feeling completely, I can't even explain it. I was starting to getting a bit depressed. I'm not a depressed person at all. I'm very, very positive. But I think with obviously the universe is changing. We all know the universe is changing, the world is changing, everything's changing. And I can really feel it in me, but it's making me feel very, very low, very low. I'm having to force myself to even go out the house, actually, and to get out of bed. It's really horrible. I'm hoping it's going to pass soon, because it's very unlike me. And I know it's cold and everything, but I don't worry about that. I don't feel cold. I'm out and I'm full on all the time. Normally I'm full on, very sociable. Now I couldn't give a shit. I really couldn't, honestly.
Maybe it's the energy rising up, Patricia. Slow you down.
Yeah, up very much so. And it's funny because I live in a place where there's sheltered accommodation with a lot of other ladies actually. And there's often a little upset in these sort of places, which you get it everywhere, especially with women. We're all nightmares, aren't we? And that had happened here. And I thought, well, to be honest, I'm quite glad, because it's stopped me from associating with anybody. Unless I'm outside, if I'm shopping or something, it's not different. But so I wasn't communicating with people that were here, which made me go more into myself, which I know I need to do. I don't do it enough. I know I don't. I've got all the tools, surrounded by cards and books and all the rest of it. We all have crystals. I'm surrounded by it, but I do fuck all with it sometimes. So it's really, I suppose I'm very, very complacent in the fact that I'm so well. I'm 83 and I've never, ever had an illness in my life. I take no medication whatsoever. I do all my keep fit classes and everything. So I'm very, very lucky. No, I'm not lucky. It's the way my life has unfolded. And I intend to live to 100 with no problem with that at all, much to my family's dismay.
What's your word for the year then?
Well, I can't really. When you asked that, I thought I didn't have enough. No, I mean, it should. I just think the world at the moment is relaxed, You know, you've got to relax and just let it get on with it. There's nothing we can do really apart from be ourselves. We are here. We are the gift to the universe. We are one of the cells in the planet. You know, we are the grains of sand in the planet, and we just got to act our part best we can, really, and try to. I mean, I'm always positive. I never have any negativity. So I think it's the thing to be positive all the time. Now, if I get someone near me who's negative, they straight away get a mouthful because I don't stand for any of that. We've got to be really upcoming. We've got to be up, haven't we? Because everybody else is down. So we've got to carry the light.
What I feel is sometimes is that actually, if we're always light, that we're not necessarily honouring the seasonal changes within us, which maybe you're going through right now. Is that you're just going through a flux, an energy flux before you get lifted up to the next.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because all I'm doing at the moment is sitting around watching Netflix. I mean, that can't go on, can it?
Well, why not? I think that when you've done a lot of your life, I think you please yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I do feel guilty not feel guilty about pleasing myself. I'm all right with that, but I do feel guilty about not being active.
What brings you joy, Patricia? This is
being with my family, really, that brings me the most joy. When I see my sons, yeah, I'm going to see one of my sons tomorrow. But I think it's most joyous to be outside as well, to go and see. I should have gone down to the duck pond today, but I came out and I went somewhere else. But I go and look at the ducks quite. I've been to my Keep Fit class this morning, and I can walk down the road for 10 minutes and sit and look at the ducks and the geese. I didn't do that. I might do that this afternoon, actually. I've got nothing to do today. I've got no housework to do. A bit of washing up. I'm supposed to tidy a cupboard, but can I be bothered to tidy a cupboard? Do you know what that's like? Oh, my shoes.
Well, you're very inspiring, Patricia. So you've never not on medication. You're not. You just
no.
You've done a brilliant job of keeping yourself in a good place.
Definitely.
And emotionally. So if you have the odd blip and you're not feeling, you're slightly different, it's just changes and shifts, and I would just go with it and don't feel guilty.
Yeah, I have to think like that, and I'm not like that normally. So this is something that's out of my, schedule. So, yeah, I just need to accept it and wait for the spring.
Yes, and don't give it time, because that's not good. But thank you so much.
Thanks, S.A.S. It's been very, very nice talking to you all. Bye-bye.
It's really lovely to hear your voice. Thank you, Patricia, for coming on. So we're going to go to Clifford White. If you'd like to unmute yourself, as they say. If you're able to do that, over on the left-hand side, there's a little microphone audio. You click it. It should, unless I've gone control freak on my thing. Let me just see. It's really weird when you travel. When I try and get my cursor onto the unmute bit, it just covers with all the ask to unmute, lower hand, more, and you can't get to it to unmute you. So it's you might have to do it yourself. I don't know how else to do it. It's not playing ball with me. I'm muting myself now, which is probably a blessing. So yeah, Clifford, are you able to unmute yourself? Asked to unmute. There we go. Brilliant.
Hello.
Wonderful. Hi there.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for coming on. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Whereabouts are you in the world?
I'm in at the moment. I'm in Hendon in London. I actually worked with Rachel over 10 years ago, which had followed working with David Icke for a while.
My friend.
I've also worked with Uri Geller,
Wow.
Paul McKenna. Just trying to think.
In what capacity, when you say worked with them?
Different things. It's a long story, which I won't bore you with now, but I was just sort of thinking, I've been sort of very involved in community and spiritual community building. And it was interesting to sort of, because I went through a long period of being very interested in what was happening in the world. And then I realized, I think Patricia mentioned it, and I sort of realized that what was happening is I was quite depressed a lot of the time. And I sort of thought, and I realized that my depression was because of my frustration with actually not being able to do anything.
Oh yeah.
I really wanted to do something. I've always, since I've been young, I always felt like why is the world like this? Why are people doing this? Why are people treating each other like this? This is not right. This doesn't make any sense. And like I said, I sort of followed it quite closely for a long time, and I was getting more and more depressed. And then I kind of realized it's your frustration with not actually being able to do anything.
Yeah.
So I started to do things, and I created a spiritual group, and that didn't, it worked, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. And I was obviously going to groups as well. This was before the internet. Well, not before the internet, but this was before the internet we have now. And I tried creative groups because I'm a creative as well. I'm a writer. I write music, produce music. I've done about 20 albums. You can find me on Spotify and all these places. So I started creative groups, and again, I sort of, yeah, it wasn't quite what I was looking for, because creative people tend to be very self-absorbed, very sort of, they think they are the greatest thing, especially the ones that have achieved great things. They really think they're, you know, better than sliced bread or something like that. So that wasn't it. I kept giving up, kept being disappointed, even though and then of course, I'd then kind of go back into my shell for a while and think, okay, maybe you're the only one in the world who feels like this. Obviously, I wasn't. Then COVID came along, and suddenly I realized, oh, loads of people are now sort of into this subject. Before it had been just me was the weirdo, but now everybody else is like really interested in this stuff. And so I came up with the idea during COVID. Maybe my mistake, maybe what I need is I'm looking for a particular kind of formula that I hadn't found. And it occurred to me during COVID, what if you took the spiritual and the creative and you put those two things together? So what if you started a community for people who are both of those things? So I started something on Meetup, which is you probably all heard of it. It's this
Yeah.
online platform where, it's a bit like this. You could you create communities. And I started a community called Spiritual Creatives. And that just took off. And it's been an amazing journey since then. We're up to about 2,500 members. You'll find us on Meetup. I can put the link in the chat if you want to see it.
How does that play out? How does it operate?
Similar, I started with online meetups during COVID because obviously we're all locked in our houses, prevented from doing anything and going anywhere. Although, ironically, that actually led to a lot of good stuff. A lot of people had a chance to re-examine their lives, to delve deeper, to ask themselves questions that they hadn't asked themselves before. And it was really nice. It was a lovely support group, and I was meeting the people that I always wanted to meet, spiritual people. I've always loved spiritual people, but also people who are kind of doing things with that. Because obviously creativity, when you're driven by creativity, you want to create things. So they were kind of usually creating whatever, art or writing or music or something like that. And so there was that dynamic sort of energy in it, which was kind of what I'd always been missing, was the doing rather than the thinking. And then when lockdown was lifted, we started to meet in person. And now we have quite a healthy sort of monthly gathering, which we do a walk around Hampstead Heath, which has always been a special place for me. And it's grown, we get a good 40 or 50 people every month. And they just come and they connect. And it's so nice. It's just really strange. I was worried when I started it. I thought, oh gosh, there's going to be a lot of people with very different views.
I
Obviously in
think
this
you some
world,
music,
the
actually.
spiritual world, there can be some quite different points of view. I thought there'd be clashes, but actually that's not what's happened. People have been so grateful to connect with each other and to share their interests. And there's been no fights have broken out or anything. It's been
No
really, really
dramas.
lovely. Um, and then what happened? Sorry to go on with this whole story, but I might as well tell you now I've started. But then what happened was that someone said something to me about the arts. Someone mentioned the word arts to me, and it was like one of those light bulb moments. I thought, all the arts. I thought, I wonder if anybody's tried to create an arts organization for spirituality before. because I mean, I'm not a historian, but I was aware of people like William Blake, who was quite well known for what he did in art and writing, and another lady called Hilma af Klint, who's was a painter and an illustrator, and she was very into sort of theosophy and spirituality. So I knew there was a history. Anyway, I looked and investigated, and nobody has created an arts organization for spirituality before, which is like, what? Why? It seems obvious. So we started one, and that's grown. We've now got about 200 members, musicians, artists, writers, performers, producers, filmmakers. Got a big website, loads of stuff on there. So I feel in one way I'm happy because I'm now actively doing something to sort of change the world. I feel like I'm putting my energy into, I feel less frustrated on that regard. But on the other hand, and this is kind of why I'm here in a way, is ever since I worked with Rachel, I've followed her and I watch her videos and I'm very much on her wavelength as I was when we met the first time. And, I felt like, yeah, I want to keep doing things, but actually the key is how do you make these things work financially? It's like it's all good on an ethereal spiritual level, but from a financial level, that's a big challenge. And it's interesting what she said most recently about there's resistance to these sorts of things. And I think I've been experiencing that. I get interesting problems with my email not getting through and interesting problems with communication. And in her most recent video, she sort of intimated that, and I don't want to get all sort of dark and mysterious about it, but the forces that be would rather this sort of thing doesn't sort of see the light. And you have to try extra hard to kind of get it out there because it's being resisted. And I suppose that brings me to the conclusion that, well, what is the theme for this year with what I'm trying to do? And I think it would be the growth, the financial growth. And I'm sure I'm going to do her Dragon's Guide to Business
Thursday.
course.
Sounds like it's Thursday.
As it goes, ironically, at the moment, I'm in the midst of moving home and all that, so it's probably not good timing to try and do it now. But I'd love to do it because I think this has the potential of doing something really positive. I mean, not changing the world. I'm not a megalomaniac or anything, but it's certainly from what I can see with the people who are involved, it really is lifting people's spirits. It's giving people something to hope for and something to engage with, and it's giving that sense of community, which,
Yeah,
like I
absolutely.
said,
So,
yeah.
Vanessa, is there any way you could put your connect, anywhere that people can connect with you? Because there's
Yeah,
quite
of course. What I'll do is
a people, including
I'll give you
myself.
the meetup group first, which is where it all began, which is now on the chat.
Is this the
Like I
first
say,
time you've been on to speak? Did you say?
sorry.
Is this the first time you've been on to speak?
In this group, yes. I mean, I've obviously run my own and
Yeah.
so on. I wasn't even aware this existed. I would have joined a while back, but
How
I
did you
wasn't.
find out?
I think Rachel's last video said something, or there was a link, or I can't remember. I
Okay.
followed something somewhere,
Every
and I
two
thought,
weeks
oh,
on Monday at this
yeah,
time.
no, I'll be a regular. I
Wonderful.
won't dominate the next time, but I'll be a
No,
regular.
it's okay. It's good to hear because obviously lots of people don't like speaking, but I would like to listen to Sandra before. But I would love to for you to put it down below because this goes out to everybody
Right,
on an email. Rachel sends out all the information on the chat as well as a link to the video so you can revisit. So
right.
we'd love you to put the information down for other people as well. So that'd be wonderful. And thank you very much for coming on. And
Thank
it's
you.
great to have you welcome people to
Spiritual arts.
spiritual arts. Brilliant. So we'd like to when I say we, I sure we'd all like to hear from Sandra. So Sandra, are you able to unmute yourself if I'll put you down as ask you to unmute and then you should be able to unmute.
Yeah, hi everybody.
Thank you, darling. That's great.
Good to be on the group. I've been on a few times, but I've never actually spoke before. I was
Wonderful.
just listened.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I just really wanted to connect really with like-minded people. Oh, I've just been in a really bad place. I've been rabbit holing for a long time. And it's got, like that last speaker said, it's got me into a really dark place, really. And I just find it so frustrating. Most of the people I know that I was friends with in the past were just, I don't know if you can understand, but just on a different wavelength, you know. Like recently, one of them, oh, she's a lovely, dear woman, and our two kids have gotten sick and unexpectedly, and I straight away I go to, oh, they were jabbed. It's probably connected to that, you know. But I can't say this to her, you know, and I just find it so frustrating, and so I can't talk. So I end up in this place where I isolate and I just scroll and I don't talk to anybody. And I just thought, you know what, get on the Rachel group and just say how you feel, connect with like-minded people. Hopefully I can hook up with that meet-up group that chap was just speaking about. I live in Dorset and Poole. I'm from Dublin, as you can probably gather. Yeah, I just really wanted to connect with like-minded people because I'm in a rut. I'm in a dark place at the moment, and I know it's because of the scrolling and what's going on. And I keep saying, why are you doing this to yourself? Why, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. I gave up my job at the beginning of COVID and I haven't been back to work because personally, I just don't want to be in the system. That's the way I feel. And yeah, I just feel I'm in a rut and I just wanted to connect with like-minded people that understand where I'm coming from and just to kind of get out this frustration that there's nothing I can do.
Well, that's sometimes
on a worldly level. Like I know there's probably community stuff I could do. I'm just not in the headspace to even do that. Just for an example, I'm going away on Thursday. A friend of mine asked me to go on a week's holiday, and I'm going, but I'm not looking forward to the travel restrictions and all this bullshit that they do now in the airports where they want you to go through this scanning machine, which I'm not going to go through. I mean, I've just come back from Ireland. My dad's 90 and he's ill. And the whole rigmarole of going through the airports now, I just don't find it enjoyable travelling anymore. But I'm going to go because it's a bit of sunshine and I'll make the best of it and hopefully it'll lift my spirits a bit.
Well, thank you, Sandra. We're going to next time we're maybe put it out that people can share ways in which they can uplift themselves. They can, because it's so important to share that information. Sometimes it's just connecting with nature, going out, sitting by water, cuddling a tree which is solid and strong, connecting with our breath and just allowing all the clutter in the mind just to dissipate, or watch it as opposed to get involved in it emotionally. But I just, this is definitely a community for you because we're all support one another going through all these huge changes. We're coming to an end of a 26,500 year cycle. So we've gone to the depths, the darkest of the depths, and now we're coming out. So things are going to improve, things are going to be better. But if you connect with, other people in this group, you'll find that generally we can all help each other to feel uplifted. If that's what we want, sometimes we have to go into the deepest of despair in order to find a way out to the light. So it's just accepting and surrendering where you're at right now. I think when we're trying to force ourselves to be something that we're not feeling, that also not feel good. So just accept and surrender to where you are right now. And nothing ever stays the same. That's what I've noticed. Everything changes. Nothing ever remains the same. So look forward to brighter days coming. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming to say hello. And now that you've found us, we're here every other Monday at 12 o'clock. So please do reconnect. And you'll get the link to the video, and maybe there's some comments or people that may have some connection or something for you to look at that might be inspiring or uplifting. So I just want to say we're coming to the end because we're going past. You're very welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, everybody. If anybody would like, thanks, Karina, that's great. So yes, just want to send our love out to everybody who's struggling or not feeling well. And as I say, even though I've been going through this foot thing for 2 months, it is coming to an end. So nothing ever does. That's the only thing in the moment, I have to accept what's going on. But knowing that everything does change, nothing remains the same. And including the scenarios that we're all in terms of the wider picture. So just I just watch and observe and not try to get too emotionally involved in what's going on. We can only ever work on our own frequency, our own energy, and loving and accepting where we're at is part of that, I feel. So is anybody else? Rachel, do you want to say anything before we leave, or are you quite happy to remain anonymous today, snuggled up in bed? I just don't want anyone to be left out, and you might want to say something about your business ventures that are kicking off next week, in case anybody wants to join. No? Okay, well, listen, we'll love you and leave you until a couple of weeks' time. Oh, snoozing, yeah, well, it's a good idea. I hope you all have a lovely afternoon and a lovely rest of the week. It's lovely to see all the familiar faces. Please share the link with anybody else that you think might benefit from being part of this community. And also, what we'd love to see is maybe this year, what I'd love to see is maybe finding times or places punctuated throughout the year where we could actually all gather together, find a middle ground, and come together as a group, sharing gifts, talents, whatever. But we would be nice to move forward and see everybody in a live version. So that's what I'd like to see. We could organise this year is a gathering, a conference, a coming together. So lots of love to everybody, and thanks very much again for joining us, and looking forward to the rest of our connections over the next few months, and lots of love. Take care, and a happy, prosperous and abundant new year. Lots of love, everybody. If you'd like to give us a wave, and this will be up on, I think it's going to be not Rumble, Odyssey, but you will get the link through the email if you're connected to Rachel. So wonderful to see you all. Thanks a lot. Take care. Till next time. Bye.